Hello everyone, and welcome. What we're going to do today is we're going to go through and show you how to plant up a fall urn or fall container. And what we're going to start with is we're going to start with our focal point, and in this particular case this is carex buchananii, and I'm going to place this, and as you'll see, what I'm doing here is I'm placing it a little bit off center as opposed to direct center. That gives me more of a surface space towards the front and the sides. I think that for the majority of us, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to sort of have that space available at the very front of the container towards the sides and a little bit less towards the back, because this is where it's really the most visible. So that is going to be our height and our focal point. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a garden mum, and I'm going to incorporate the garden mum. Now I'm just going to spin it around a little bit. Remember to always score the roots just a tad, because what you're going to find is that sometimes these plants are extremely root bound, and if you put them into the soil where they're that tight with their roots, the water can't get through, and you'll find that they don't seem to do quite as well. So scoring the root system certainly helps. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a fall aster, and I'm going to add the fall aster in. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for a succession of blooms. We're going to have some that are going to bloom faster than others, some that will bloom a little bit longer than others. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to create this effect where we do have a continuous amount of bloom, and we have that sort of real bountiful kind of look that, that we're trying to achieve for the fall. Here we're going to incorporate some kale, and I'm going to just put that towards the front. So basically what we're going to end up with here is we're going to end up with a focal point that has height, a second level that is sort of halfway down, and then we're going to have the plant material that is running along the edge, and then I'm going to show you as well when we do the spillers so that we have everything just sort of drooping over. So again, for that sort of fall bountiful kind of look, I'm going to also incorporate some peppers. Really an ornamental pepper. I mean, yes, they are edible, but they're extremely, extremely hot, so I wouldn't recommend it. So let me just tuck that in towards the side there. And then I am going to take Dusty Miller. Dusty Miller is a great annual, and it does really well, and it can handle the colder night temperatures. So it works really nicely, and it creates a nice backdrop just because of that sort of silvery white color that it has. So you can see how we're sort of gradually going around and filling the container all the way through. And yes, this material is going in relatively tight, because what you want to do is you want to be able to create a full effect right from the onset, because this type of material isn't going to be in the container long enough for it to grow. So you're not going to sort of plant it far enough apart and sort of hope that it all sort of comes together. So we're looking for something that is full right from the very onset. Okay, let's try. This is kind of a really cool little plant that is called a calliocephalus, and it has an incredibly beautiful sort of silver tinge to it that is going to offset some of the purples that I have at the front of this container. So let me just put that in and show you. Actually, I'll put two in. There we go. You can see how it just sort of makes all the deeper colors stand out that much more. And then I'm going to add calluna, which is a fall flowering calluna. It's a very long-lasting bloom. And some people have great success by taking it out of the container once it's finished blooming, planting it in the ground, and treating it as a perennial. But in this case, we're just going to try to fill this container up as much as we possibly can with as much color. And then I'm going to add some of the trailing that I was talking about earlier, and in this particular case I'm going to use ivy. So I'm just going to break it apart. Let's find a spot where I think it might look best. We'll do some towards the front. Like so. So you've got some of it trailing like that, and then I'm going to add a little bit off to one side towards the back. And then basically what I'm going to do from here on is I'm going to fill it, and I'm going to fill it with icicle pansies. I mean, the selection of color is absolutely incredible, and this will give you just some additional bloom to go with your asters and to go with your mums. Get a little bit more in there. And as I say, that's the sort of the effect that you're trying to achieve is complete fullness right from the onset. And I think that I will add a little bit of yellow here where the kale is as well. Now what I like to do too is, and I find this kind of fun, is I'll take any multitude of different types of gourds that are readily available at this time of year, get my clippers out, and what I'll do is I'll just make a small enough hole in the bottom of it, and then I take the bamboo stake, cut it on a nice sharp angle, insert it like so, and then I can just kind of pop it in, and that's going to give me that extra little burst of color. Once again, I'm just going to take my clippers and I'm just going to make a small hole. I'm going to take my bamboo stake on that nice cut angle. I'm going to put it in. Let me just spin this around my way so that I can have a better look at it. Some beautiful colors of gourds. And you can basically make sure that you're working in odd numbers. So if you're going to be doing 3, as you see here, or you could do 5 to fill it up even more so. But I think that oftentimes 3 to 5 is more than sufficient for this size of a container. And hopefully the squirrels won't get to them. And you'll have something that should probably last you, I think, obviously very weather dependent, but I think that it's something that should last anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. Something that you can enjoy at the front of the house before the snow flies.